Hi, my name is Carolyn. This is my informative speech. The question I want to ask to you today is a pertinent one for our day and age. Are masks enough to prevent the spread of infection, especially of COVID 19? I should give you some background for my life. I am an RN and I do work in a COVID unit. So, this is a topic that is quite important to me, and my answer may not be what you think it is. First of all, let's look at what it takes to have a chain of infection. When I was in nursing school, which was pre COVID, one of the things that we learned about that was the most important and pertinent to our lives as a nurse is what does it require to transmit infection? And the WHO has defined this as the chain of infection. First, you need a reservoir. This is a place where a bacteria can live, grow, and multiply. This always also works with viruses or any kind of microorganism that can reproduce. One of the ways that viruses and bacteria can reproduce, one of the greatest reservoirs, is a warm, damp place. I'm going to point out here that after I wear a mask for a little while, especially my mask at work, it becomes a very warm, slightly damp place. The second thing that you need for the transmission of infection is a portal of exit. Once you have an infection in your body or in an animal's body or infection pretty much anywhere, it needs a way to get out of one person and into another. With COVID-19, your portal of exit, of course, is your respiratory system, not your sweat glands, as some people may say or some people may think, but it has to come out of your respiratory system as a droplet. So we know pretty much how bacteria gets out of our body. We breathe it out, we sneeze it out, we cough it out. Self-explanatory. The third thing you need is a mode of transmission. In a mode of transmission, there's two different definitions of this. You can have direct contact, which would mean I touch my mouth and I touch a surface. Then you come by and you touch the surface. Then you touch your mouth. That's a direct transmission. Indirect transmission can come in one of three ways. It can be airborne, as in, with example, TB can be spread just by breathing out TB. Ebola is also another virus, according to the World Health Organization, that can be spread by means of airborne transmission. A vehicle of transmission, in other words, for better words, lick something, and then you also come by and lick it, as in sharing a drink, or a vector, which would be considered such as a mosquito that transmits malaria from one person to the other, or a tick is more likely to happen in our world that can transmit Lyme's disease from one person to the other. The next thing we need is a portal of entry. With humans, a lot of times your portal of exit is the next person's portal of entry. So a lot of our infections that we get in our bodies come by way of our respiratory tract. They can also come by way of your GI tract, as in a case such as food poisoning. You can eat something, or you can touch your mouth with something. Lots of stomach viruses are spread that way. You touch the surface that someone else has touched, or they cough on you, you get it in your digestive tract and it starts to grow. Another way that humans can contract an infection is a broken area of skin, such as a cut that a bacteria crawls in and lives in, and the next thing you know, you have cellulitis. Not a pleasant thought, but it is true, and that's how infection spreads many times. The last thing we need to spread infection is a host. That would be the person, the animal, some kind of perfect organism that can now become the reservoir. In the case of COVID-19, humans are the host, it seems. The next point we'll move on to is the CDC guidelines. How can we prevent the spread of infection? How do we prevent the spread of COVID? It's not just wearing a mask. The first step and the most effective step is to wash your hands. This prevents the spread of flu, also the spread of COVID. The spread of lots of things can be simply prevented by washing your hands. If you go back and read the Levitical laws, God was pretty specific about washing your hands all the way back there to prevent the spread of infection. The second thing is to avoid close contact, especially if you're immune compromised. Don't go out around people. Stay home. Use the 7 o'clock shopping hour to go to Walmart if you're immunocompromised. The third thing you need is to cover your mouth and nose. If you're sneezing and you're in the presence of anyone, even if you're at home alone, cover your nose or mouth when you sneeze or cough. Don't cover it with your hand. Cover it with your sleeve like this. If you cover it with your hand, you don't wash your hands, you're contaminating all kinds of surfaces. The last thing is to clean and disinfect things. A simple thing like Lysol can kill COVID. It's really that simple. Bleach wipes. Keep cleaning your surfaces when you buy something at Walmart. Don't just come home and put it in your cabinet. Wipe it down. Last, I'd like to talk about your mask. Everybody talks about wearing a mask. Of course you should wear a mask, but how do you properly wear a mask? Number one, you never touch the part that goes on your face. Ever. End of story. You touch the earpieces. You adjust it there. As soon as you've touched your mask, after you've pushed your shopping cart, your mask is contaminated. You don't touch your face, you don't touch your mask. It's really that simple. If you're breathing around your mask instead of through your mask, it's not effective. I know it's much more comfortable. Trust me, I've been there, done that for 12 hours a day. But it really doesn't prevent the spread of infection. So the last thing is, if your mask becomes damp, it's no longer effective. When you breathe, when you talk, and if you're like me and you wear a mask to do really anything, you're going to start sweating. So change your mask often. If you're wearing the cloth mask that most people do at home, the ones that are a little easier to breathe through, you should be changing those regularly throughout the day. You should never go 8 hours wearing the same mask. Especially, you should never wear them 2 days in a row because now you've given that bacteria 24 hours to grow. I hope this was effective to you, and I hope the next time you're in a discussion about should you wear a mask, you can point out to your friends and family that wearing a mask is good, but if you're not doing it properly, you're creating a chain of infection, the perfect place for a chain of infection. Thank you.